Hello everyone. Welcome to Stay Creative at OPC. We're glad you're joining us again today for another Art to Go project. We have a fun little project for April, and it is called a Hello Spring Journal. And this is the little bag that you'll be getting if you order one of our kits. It has all kinds of supplies you can use for this project in it. I would like to take this time to thank our art patron, Anthology Senior Living of Troy. They have graciously stepped up to help us with some of our art programs, and it allows us to do, especially in these kits and so forth, just a little bit more for you. So in every kit, it's actually on the outside of your kit, you have a nice brochure that explains all of their services. So if you know of anybody who might be looking for a senior living facility, they're a great place, and please don't hesitate to contact them. The information's all here for you. Okay, so let's get started. Your kit contains all kinds of fun things, but you can also add some things of your own. This is going to be the type of project where not everybody's going to be doing the same thing. So when I'm explaining things, I think the venue of this one will be a little bit different. I'm just going to show you how to use some of the materials that you have in your kit, but the way that you use them and how you construct your journal is going to be totally different from the next person who does it. So I'm just going to give you some kind of fun tips and tricks today, and then you can take off from there, and the sky's the limit. Everyone has a really nice little journal with a craft heavier duty cover, and I think that might be a good place to kind of start and decide what you want to do on your cover. And then there are 50 pages, they're unlined, and if you use both sides, you actually have 100 pages. So you can start today and just keep track of some of your feelings about this time of the year, the spring, new beginnings, that type of thing, and just continue journaling. You can go right into the summer if you want, but maybe for some of you, you might write something down every single day. For some of you, it might be every other day, once a week. It can be whatever you want it to be, but make it fun and make it creative. Don't make it a chore. Just make it something that you're looking forward to doing each day, and it's something that you can look back on and say, oh, this was how I thought this day. I mean, you might want to date things, maybe you don't want to, maybe you just want to write the day of the week, whatever it might be. But it's just a book about your feelings and your thoughts. It may be something you want to share with someone, maybe something that you just want to keep totally to yourself. But again, it's up to everybody, their individual tastes. One of the things that you have in your kit that might be a springboard for you to get started is a sheet that just gives you a whole bunch of little blurbs on spring. Like spring is in the air, tiptoe through the tulips, bring on spring, think spring, plant, grow, bloom, whatever. So you might want to look through this and come up with something that's kind of a springboard for you to start. I kind of like being out in the yard and doing some flowers and planting in that. So I think I might start with that kind of a theme. In fact, if you really want to get creative, there's even a little seed packet that you can actually go out and physically plant, and then you could use the little packet in your journal if you want. So I think I am going to start with my cover, and I think there are some things like Hello Spring. There's another one that's on the front of your bag if you want to duplicate it. There's all kinds of little sayings that you can use throughout your book, and there's a couple more like things that just say Hello Spring. These might be a really good thing for you to use on the cover of your journal. I kind of like the bee, so I think I like the bee, and I like things in the yard, so I think I'm going to start with that. Now you can use scissors that you have at home, or if you happen to have a cutting tool or a little scrapbooking cutter, you could use that as well. So I think I am going to just cut out my little bee. I cut a little bit of a moth, but oh well. I'm not used to using this one. And I might do some ripping. I'm big on that because I just like things that are natural. And this will be for my cover. That might want to be where you start, but if you don't feel inspired and you want to write first, you can go back and do your cover later. It's totally up to you. So, I think these are just gonna fit on here for this one. I think I'll just kind of make it on a little bit of an angle and just do this. Okay, so I've got kind of a starting springboard here, and maybe I'll pick something from this little sheet that has all kinds of sayings and add that in. Kind of think of your cover as maybe being a bit of a collage. Just something where you're going to put
on this one
a whole bunch of colorful, fun things on the front that make you feel good and make you want to write in your journal.
God bless
Spring
you.
vibes.
Thank you.
And again, you can continue
So is that where you're
and
gonna
do as
work?
much as you, or as little as you want. There's spring is in the air, fresh flower market. If you like flowers, there's also some little booths and things with flowers in them.
And then I can only.
There are all
like,
kinds of
right- I
things
don't
in
see
your
the
kit. I
scissors.
don't have everything out here to
can you
show you,
see
but
this?
there's ribbons and there's
That? No.
No, can you see?
I can
strips of
see
paper.
all
There's
this
all
right
kinds of
here.
fun.
But
So
can't
you
see
could
this?
add,
Yeah.
you know,
'cause
something
this
like
is kinda
this.
what
If
I'm
I could
working
get
on.
closer.
But again, just
this
kind of
way.
plan your cover.
Yeah.
Okay, now I can
Put
see.
that kind of under.
Now it's
If
more
I work
center.
here, I'm okay.
Now, do you
'cause
want
that-
me to do a close
Maybe you
close-up,
want to
like the
put your
double,
name,
the two
maybe
times?
you want to take a
Or do
pen
you
and
want
write
it
the
kinda
year.
farther away?
You could even go and find some numbers and letters and cut them out
Okay,
and
yeah,
put in
okay. I think this looks pretty good
2021,
too.
whatever you want to do. Again, there's just so many possibilities.
ready?
Be creative, think of as
Yeah.
many things as you can,
Just
and
have fun with it.
try them out.
Don't
So the
worry
very
about
first, then you have a
anything.
glue stick in here, and what you're gonna do is just use the glue stick to glue
Hello,
things in place.
everyone.
Now, I would probably keep
Welcome
going and do a
to
little bit more, but
Stay
in
Creative at
lieu of time
OPC.
with our video,
Glad you're joining us
um,
again today for another Art
I'm
to
just
Go
gonna
project.
do a
We have a
couple
fun
things
little project for
now, if you
April,
have special
and it is
scrapbooking glue,
called Hello
or
Spring.
you have the
Journal.
scrapbooking tabs,
And this is the little
at
bag
home,
that you'll be
you're
getting if
welcome
you
to
order
use
one of our
those.
kits.
but
It
we just
has
supplied you with a glue
all
stick,
kinds of supplies
which
you
will
can
be
use for this
sufficient for
project
this,
in it.
and it should
And
keep
I
things in
want to
place.
take
But
this
again,
time
if
to
you want to
thank
do
our
anything more,
sponsor,
that's totally up to you. Those little
Anthology
tabs that they have
Senior
for
Living of Troy.
scrapbooking are
They
actually
have
really nice, so you
decided
could
or
do something like that. So just
cut that part out.
put it
Maureen.
along your edges.
And then work again. I would like to take this time to thank
Get your
our
corners all down.
art patron, Anthology Senior Living of Troy.
Your glue sticks are like that purpley glue, so you can kind of see where you put it down. That would probably make it a little bit easier. Okay, so we have the start of a fun little cover. Now you can even, as you go along, get into doing something on your inside covers if you want, you know. You could do this, you can do the back side of it, you can do the back and side. You can make this as fun as you want. Maybe there's envelopes and things inside your kit, and I'll show you how to do some little pouches. Maybe in the front and in the back you want to make a little pouch. There's a couple kinds of envelopes. You have these brown ones, which I kind of liked the natural one, but these are a little bit wider, and depending on how you cut them, you can glue your envelope and then just cut as high or low as you want, and then you've got a little pocket. And this one would be a little wider than the brown one. So maybe on the inside cover or the back cover, just to keep little mementos or thoughts, or maybe you see a little clipping in the newspaper or something like that that you want to add about something, you can do that here. cut this off, this is bugging me. Okay, so that's a great thing to use throughout your book. You can use, there's other small ones. If you just want a little spot to keep something, you can do these on any pages you want throughout your book. But I kind of like the idea of doing it on a front or back cover just to save some extra things as you go along. Okay, so we'll put these aside. We've kind of gone over that. Another thing that is kind of fun to attach your envelopes are these little brads. And I don't know how well you're going to be able to see them. Maybe if I put them here. But you have some colorful flower ones in your kit. And you can just punch them through. Now, you wouldn't want to do this on the cover, but if you were doing it on a page, you can just punch them through, and that would hold these in place as well. These can also just be decorative throughout on your pages. You know, kind of the sky's the limit. You could attach a photo. If, say you have a photo of something that you want to put in your book, instead of gluing it down, put a little brad on it. And not everything has to stick down totally. So that just, I'm trying to think of the things that are in your kit and the different ways that you can use them. Now in your kit, everybody did get a couple of these really fun punchers, and we tried to pick spring themed things, you know, leaves and flowers, butterflies, bugs, things like that. And you can use these. And everyone has also received some of the stamps, again in a spring theme. And you all received a multicolor stamp pad that you can use
Yeah.
for stamping.
Just have fun with it.
Ooh, is that pretty with the multicolors? That's what we kind of thought. You're not quite sure how everything's going to turn out. So you can experiment. My suggestion when you're stamping is to have a piece of scrap paper nearby and just practice once on that. And then
Yeah.
before you actually start. Sometimes
Just
just
have fun with it.
continually printing
Don't
like this
worry
too,
about
you get a
anything.
lightened effect like this. I did experiment here with stamping darker and then letting it get a little bit lighter. Maybe you would do something like this, and then just over it you're thinking that you love flowers. Maybe bloom where I am planted. So I'm just going to write bloom where I am planted. Dot, dot, dot. And maybe here you write something about where you're at right now and how you as a person want to bloom. I mean, these would be ideas. Maybe you don't want to write anything. Maybe you just want to be creative with stamps and colors and things like that. And you do that. Maybe here, since I'm starting out my journal, maybe I have a photo of myself here. And then as I go along, I expound upon different aspects of things I love about spring. There's just so many possibilities. I think, you know, you just have to think about it a little as you're going along. Think about how you feel that day, that moment, whatever it is that you sit down to work on your journal. You might even be out somewhere and think, oh, I want to capture that. And when you get home, you make a little something in your journal. And then some of the artwork can come along after. Maybe do your jotting with your notes and things like that, and then add in things later. These stamps are really fun because say for instance, you could take a piece of paper. You have all kinds of paper in your kit, different prints and planes and whatever. So you have plenty to practice on, or you can practice on scratch paper first, but well, I think I didn't press hard enough. Maybe I was on my journal there, so let's try over here. I think I'm gonna have to stand up to do this one. There we go. You may have to stand up in order to get enough of the pressure to use the punches, especially with the bigger ones. But these are really fun little things that you can just add to your pages. You can even take experiment with putting one color over another. Like I kind of like this. This is kind of fun. Again, you can use your paper cutter, you can cut by hand, whatever you feel you want to do. But I'm just trying to go over some of the different techniques of things that you could use in your book. You know, you could do something like that. You could put it on another plain color, whatever. There's also in your kits, there's ribbons, there's string. You could even take thread or whatever and you could sew on your pages. I mean, there's all kinds of things that you could do. So I would say, like, write down some of the things that you want to journal about and then add some artwork. There are also punches that if you want to just punch through your actual page, you could do that too. Let's see if I'm going to have to stand up again. I think this just has some little circles on the corner. It actually just takes a little crunch out of your page. They're all a little different, so I think because that one was rounded, it went different. Yeah, but you can see you can get little edging. I don't think I like the way that one turned out. But if you don't like something, be creative and do this. And maybe underneath you write a secret message. There's just so many possibilities of things that you can do. Let's go on to another page. I'm kind of just experimenting as I'm going along here. Now, I do like to plant, so maybe you want to write about my first flowers of the season, or like daffodils are some of the first things to come up. So maybe we start here and say, today my daffodils are blooming, and then say how you feel. How does that color make you feel? And write about it. It is a really good feeling in spring when flowers start to bloom, when the trees are budding. Write about what that does to you, how that inspires you. But again, we could do something here. One thing's going to kind of lead to another. Like when we cut with a puncher, we got a really nice little fern here, so I think I'll just use that piece right there. And I might want to journal about how the colors make me feel, the colors of spring. And then write something. If some of you have watercolors at home or colored pencils, this might be a time when you might want to just take a little bit of a wash. If you have a simple little kit, now these aren't included in your kit, but you might have something like this at home, just a simple little watercolor kit from even when you were a kid or whatever, and just do some little sprigs of color. Maybe do a whole page first. You'd have to let it dry a little and then write over about how the colors of spring make you feel. Again, you could refer to your sheet that has a lot of the different little sayings, and maybe here you would put something like spring is in the air, and a reminder of how beautiful change can be. Take time to read some of these because they might be a springboard for you to journal about something. So again, you can write first, you can go ahead and just do some fun pages with some of the things that are in the kit, and then see how it inspires you to write about it. There's different ways to approach it. There are also some fun little flowers and things that are in your kit. These can be glued in different places. There's stickers. There's little blocks of color. I don't have those out with me right now, but they're little squares and circles that are already all pre-cut. Maybe you could do a whole border of all the colors and just talk about, wow, all the colors of spring and how they make you feel. Again, what Pam does might be different from what Sue does or what Paula does. Everyone's is going to look different. So since I'm doing flowers, maybe I'd want to take some of the little flowers that are in my kit and glue down some of those at this point. So I'm just giving you different possibilities. There are also stickers in your kit. So maybe on a page you just do a border. You know, it can be as much or as little as you want. And maybe here, I have some fun little scissors. I don't know if you guys have anything like this at home. I think I'll cut a little piece and add in a little pocket and maybe put my first bloom here. And in there, you could press your flower in a little piece of wax paper like we used to do a long time ago and save it. And when you go back next year and look at your kit, you can say, oh wow, that was the first thing I picked from my garden this year. And just have a little spot to keep it. So you each have a few envelopes, but if you have other old envelopes at home, you can, add some of them in. You could, maybe I want to put a little butterfly on my envelope. These stamps are really fun. I would suggest when you're done stamping that you wash your stamps off and just kind of dry them too. See how the multicolors, they really look kind of fun. Depending on how big your stamp is, you could just do one color too. I think I might have a few more than what you have in your kit, but experiment on a piece of scrapbook paper or a piece of scrap paper first and just see what you think. But you can see how all the colors kind of go together, and maybe this is going to be writing about time to fly, time to spread my wings, and what do I want to do to spread my wings this spring, to become a better person, to try something new, to whatever it might be. But these are all things that you can do in this journal. You also have different ribbons. Another thing that you might want to do on your kit, holding all your little papers on the front, is a clothespin. So we put that in thinking you could even use that as your page marker if you want, for where you're at writing. But the other thing you can do if you want is there's a piece of elastic, and then there are some beads in your kit as well. And if you want to string a couple beads, I'm kind of getting messy here, we tried to pick ones that had larger holes and stuff in them. You could put a couple beads. There's the hole on that one. There we go. Might have to cut it so that you don't have a frayed edge. But I'll put a few little beads on. And then if in the back of your book you want to just put this around and tie it, I wouldn't tie it super tight because then you can use it as a page marker, and I'll show you in just a minute. And then you can slip your pages through. just so it kind of stays on. You could do this in the front or the back of your book. I'm just doing it in the back right now. But you could have, now if you'd rather, you could have these long tendrils be on the outside and hang your beads from that, whichever way you want to do it. But this way, when you're working on your book, you kind of have a page marker. Now because this I'm using inside, I'm going to cut mine shorter, but again, you could just reverse this to go on the outside. But then you have like a little page marker. You could use your ribbon, and you could tie the ribbon to one of the little wire prongs and make a bookmark that way too. So there's just so many things in the kit that can help you to personalize this and make it your own. Just trying to think if there's anything else here that I have that I think that I should show you, but I think we've pretty much covered it all. Just experiment, and maybe that's what you want to do first when you get your kit. Take everything out, kind of just lay it out, and look what you have, and think about ways that you might want to use some of the supplies in your kit. Practice a little bit with your stamps, and then when you get a feel for what you've got, then kind of dig in. And like I said before, you can start one of many ways by doing some writing first and going back and embellishing your pages. You can do one whole page at a time and do, you know, both your artistic, creative things and then do your writing at the same time. It's just how you feel, and it's how inspired you are that day to be creative. If your journal wants to just be more writing and a little bit of stamping, that's totally up to you. But don't forget about doing something really fun on your cover, something fun on the back pages, and making it really personal. And just, again, journal as you feel. So I hope this helps you to come up with some ideas of what you might want to do with this. We always enjoy seeing what you've done. So if you have a page that especially you were really happy with, or a cover that you did that you just think, wow, I love how that turned out, then, you know, send us a photo of it. We would love to see what you're doing and that you're enjoying our kits. This is a fun project for both adults. It's a great one for grandkids too, because as they're learning to write and that type of thing, you know, it's good practice for them. Don't forget to add some of your own personal memorabilia, your photos. Like maybe there was something you did last year on this day that you want to remember. Maybe you have a birthday this month and you want to put something about that in. You know, have it be memories, dreams, inspiration. Just have fun with it and be you. Thanks for joining us.